Let's be honest, always texting back fast, always saying yes, always being around, seems like the right way to show someone you care, right? But here's the twist. The more available you are, the less they value you. Why? Because what's easy to get is easy to forget. When you're always there, they stop wondering about you. They stop thinking about you. You go from exciting to expected, and once you're expected, you're replaceable. It's not about playing games. It's about keeping your self-worth, your space, and your power. In this video, we're breaking down exactly how being too available silently pushes people away and how pulling back just a little flips the whole dynamic. Stick around until the end, because the last point is the one that makes them start chasing you. Let's break this down. 1. Instant availability kills intrigue. Let's say you meet someone named Jordan. You hit it off. Great energy, long conversations. After that, you text them constantly. You reply in seconds. You're always up for a call, even at 1 a.m. Now, at first, Jordan is flattered, but after a few days, maybe a week, something changes. They stop replying as fast. Their messages get shorter. They start taking longer to respond. You feel it, that shift. Why? Because your constant presence became predictable. There's no mystery, no tension, no reason for their brain to stay alert and curious. In 2004, psychologists Roy Baumeister and Mark Leary published research on interpersonal attraction. One key takeaway? People crave novelty and uncertainty in relationships. It keeps the mind engaged. Too much certainty? The mind tunes out. Think of it like a TV series. If you always know what's coming next, it gets boring fast. The same thing happens with people. When you're instantly available 24/7, they stop wondering what you're up to because they already know you're waiting. Intrigue dies. And when intrigue dies, interest follows close behind. 2. They assume you have nothing going on. Here's the part no one tells you. When you're always available, people assume you don't have a life. That sounds harsh, but it's real. Let's go back to Jordan. Imagine this. Every time they text, you're free. They say, "Wanna hang out?" You drop everything. Even when you're busy, you make yourself unbusy. At first, they might appreciate it, but slowly, it starts to send a message, and not a good one. It says, "I'm not busy because I have nothing else to do." My world revolves around you. Now think about the people you find attractive. The ones who seem to have this magnetic energy. What do they all have in common? They're busy. They've got stuff going on. Hobbies, work, friends, goals. You feel lucky when they make time for you, and that's what creates value. There's a reason celebrities, athletes, and even local it people seem so desirable. It's not just looks, it's because they seem hard to get. Their time feels limited, so it feels valuable. In 2020, a study by Harvard Business School looked into perceived value in social settings. The results? People rated others as more attractive and interesting when they believed the person had a full active life. Over-availability gave off the opposite vibe. Low demand, low status. So when you are always around, people don't think, "Wow, they're so loyal." They think, "Why are they always free?" And that tiny question, it plants doubt. 3. No chase equals no emotional investment. There's something important you've probably noticed in your own life, but maybe never thought about this way. The more effort you put into someone, the more you care. The more someone makes you earn their time or attention, the more you value it. Now flip that around. If you give someone attention without them having to do anything, if you're emotionally present from day one, if they never have to chase you or wonder how you feel, they never get emotionally invested. Let's say your friend Taylor met someone named Maya. Taylor liked Maya right away. Maya seemed interested too, but she wasn't always free. She took time to reply. She made Taylor wait for dates, not in a rude way, just naturally busy. Balanced. Guess what happened? Taylor couldn't stop thinking about her. Every time she replied, Taylor got a little dopamine hit. Every time she didn't, it created suspense. Taylor started talking about her nonstop. I wonder what she's up to. Why hasn't she texted back yet? Did I say something wrong? That's emotional investment. That's the chase. Now compare that to someone who replies instantly every time, who always says yes, who's too eager. There's no effort involved, no reward to earn. And when there's no reward to earn, the brain doesn't form an emotional connection. In 1971, psychologist Robert Jung introduced the mere exposure effect. Basically, we tend to like things we see more often. But in attraction, there's a catch. Only if the exposure doesn't feel excessive. Too much, too fast. It backfires. We start to feel smothered. So when someone doesn't have to put in any work to win you over, they don't build attachment, they don't bond, and worst of all, they start pulling away, even if they don't know why. Retention phrase. Stick around until the very end, because the last point is the real switch. It's the part that flips their mindset completely and makes them start chasing you. 4. They start projecting higher value onto you. Let's talk about what happens when you stop being constantly available. When someone doesn't hear from you all the time, when you're not always online, not always responding, not always there, their mind doesn't just go quiet. It starts working overtime. This is where something called selective perception kicks in. It's a cognitive bias, where people start assigning meaning to things based on their own thoughts, not reality. So if someone texts you and you don't reply right away, they don't just think, oh, they're busy. They start thinking, who are they with? Are they losing interest? Did I say something wrong? Are they seeing someone else? Suddenly, their brain is filling in the gaps. And here's the wild part. The more space you give them, the more they project. And usually, they project upward. They start thinking you're out doing exciting things, living your best life, being admired by other people. Whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. The mystery creates value. It's the same reason people fantasize more about celebrities than their neighbors. You don't see what the celebrity is doing day to day. You just imagine it. The brain loves filling in the blanks, and it almost always fills them with exaggeration. In fact, a 2017 study published in Social Psychological and Personality Science found that people rate others as more attractive when they know less about them. Mystery amplifies desirability. So when you're not available 24/7, you're not forgotten. You're imagined. And that imagined version of you, it's almost always more intriguing, more confident, more independent, and more attractive than reality. You become a story in their head instead of a notification on their phone. And once you're a story, they want to turn the page. All of that builds to this next point, the one that flips the dynamic. If you take in nothing else, this is what changes everything. 5. Your detachment triggers their instinct to pursue. When you pull back, when you stop chasing, stop over-explaining, stop always being the one who reaches out, something shifts in the other person. They stop feeling chosen, and they start feeling like they're the ones trying to earn you. This is where pursuit begins. Let's go back to Taylor and Maya. Remember how Maya wasn't always around? She didn't ignore Taylor, but she had her own life, her own rhythm, her own energy. She didn't chase, and she didn't try to convince Taylor to like her. That made Taylor chase harder. He wanted confirmation. He wanted validation. He wanted to feel chosen. This dynamic isn't random. It's biology. According to attachment theory and behavioral psychology, we're wired to seek balance in emotional energy. When one person pulls away, the other often compensates by leaning in. So if you're always leaning in, they lean back. But if you lean back, they instinctively lean in. It's like a psychological tug of war. And the crazy part is, people often don't even realize they're doing it. It shows up in small ways. They check your social media more often. They reply faster. They ask more questions. They initiate plans. They crave your energy because now it's no longer guaranteed. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It means showing that your self-worth doesn't depend on their attention. When you detach, even slightly, you remove the pressure. You stop trying to prove your value, and by doing that, you increase your value in their eyes. You become the prize. This is why, when you stop being so available, they start chasing. Not out of confusion, not out of ego, but because the balance has shifted, and now they're the ones trying to earn you. And guess what? That shift is what creates lasting attraction, not just attention, but investment. Not just curiosity, but pursuit. Sometimes, the hardest thing isn't pulling back. It's believing you're worth the space. But once you see how people respond when you stop chasing, it clicks. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about finally getting real about your value. If this gave you a new way to look at things, drop a comment so I know it helped. And hey, don't just scroll on. Hit that like button, share this with a friend who's always too available, and make sure you're subscribed. Because we've got more mindset shifts coming your way.